Hello and welcome to another episode of Weston Super Mare. Hi Josh, hi Sam, how you doing? I'm in the middle of a night shift and I thought I would just give you the best I can possibly give you because I want to carry on playing essentially, given enough quiet time. And so I thought I'd do a little rundown of the squad for you, and then maybe we'll play West Brom as well. If you hear some beeping in the middle of this, that's because work happens. Hopefully we can avoid that and just be able to steal half an hour of messing about. So, some big things have happened to the squad. Let's take a look. What's happening here? Okay, fine. So, we've still got... So, the squad now looks like this. Should we do it this way? No, let's do it this way. Transfers. Where's transfers? That one there. So... We've brought in... No, that's not the best way to do it. That is not the best way. This is the best way. So, we know Reynaldo Soto. We know Nick Fitzgerald. We know Kola Emblom. We know Albert Bayon. We know Roberto Montagnelli. We know Uros Kotnik. We know Luciano Dania. We know Spencer. We know Munier. We know Pedersen. We know Cunningham. The first team at the moment hasn't changed because that's the way I just set up for the last friendly of the pre-season. But I have signed a new goalkeeper. Ahmed Khalil Al-Sulaiti. He is 19 years of age and he's a sweet. He's learning from, I think he's learning from Soto. But yeah, I signed him for, I believe, for free. Yes, I did, from Paris Saint-Germain. He's going to be the backup if I get a decent offer. I've been trying to sell Casolo for a little bit of money. If he doesn't get sold, I want about 7 million for him. If he doesn't get sold, then fine. The way it will work is that Casolo will be the backup, and for this season, I might end up loaning him out. But we'll see. For now, we don't need to know exactly about that yet. Sabani, I've noticed, is still quality, so I'm keeping him around. We've obviously still got Mbele. I signed him to a new deal. I upped his money a little bit, but didn't up it too much, and he'll be around for another few years. He's got another 5 years on his contract now. He's a decent backup, but he's nowhere near good enough to be starting every game, despite the fact that he started almost every game last season. So it's a shame. He's a good player, but I'm not going to be relying on him too much more anymore. He will be the backup option. We've obviously still got Mr. Kovic for another year at least, and we've still got Boris Abdallah, who I think will start most games from now on. He's very much more attack-minded than Sabani, for example. Daniel's getting old at this point. He's still very good, but he's 30 now. He's starting to slow down a bit. So we'll still be playing him. I signed him to another deal. We gave him an extra bit of time on his contract. That was smart of us because it was, he was starting to run to the end of his deal. I didn't want to lose him on a free. Apologies if you can really hear like clicking noises from my mouth. It's because I'm trying to whisper a bit because Mash is obviously asleep. But now let's go to the real new signings. Maya Zitouni. Let's go here. Signed him for 11 million from Roma. He's a good player. He can play midfield centre or striker. So he will do both of those things. He scored 1 goal in pre-season, mostly playing a central midfielder. I want to try and play him there, but we'll see. Then we've obviously still got Billy Watts. We've still got Carlo Glavina, and the other main player that I brought in was Carlos Cacui, who's a 22-year-old Peruvian with 55 caps. He's a pretty decent centre back. He will be a kind of rotation option. Him and Mbele will take the place on the bench as and when it comes up. But I have been bringing in some youth players, which might be a little bit more of an effort to look towards the future. So we've got Argyris Christopoulos, who we brought in last season, but who is starting to get pretty decent. I'm quite looking forward to seeing him get good. He's being trained by, I think, Sabani at the moment, because he's a good central midfielder. And he's also more defensive minded, so that's good. He'll probably have another season just in the youth team before he ends up being loaned out to a team. So I think you can even loan them out when they're 16, but whatever. We signed Albert Palais, who's 18 and decent. He's supposed to be ending up being as good as Sabani and Mbele. So here's hoping. He's learning from. Does it tell you who he's learning from? No, he's also being tutored by somebody, possibly Spencer. Who else did we sign? Mads Christiansen. He is another Danish striker / attacking midfield right. So he's obviously being trained by Mads Pedersen, the best Danish attacking midfield right that ever has been. Yeah, he's pretty good. Signed him for 1 million or something like that, 1.8 million off of West Brom, and I'm hoping that he can be loaned out to the Championship, maybe get a couple of games under his belt, and that's going to be good. But yeah, he's a nice, decent looking player. Was this another one we signed, or was he? No, they keep telling me he's going to be good, but he's obviously not, so it doesn't matter. Felice Cuomo I also bought for a couple of £1 million, 1.7 million. He's 15, so he's going to be in the youth team for a while before he gets any game time. He's currently learning from Billy Watts, so that's nice. Let him get one of the best strikers in the world to teach him. That's very good, and hopefully he will come good for us in a couple of years' time. We can start sort of dropping him into cup games and things. Any more of them there? Did we sign anyone else? No. Okay, so that's it. But so it's been it felt like it was more busy, but yeah, it's been a relatively busy summer. We've brought in some players to fit the team where we needed them, and that's helped us out in terms of strength and depth. The keys that you will have noticed are players like where have they all gone? History. So Frank Abalo, he went on his jolly way because he's an injury-prone motherfucker and also was rubbish. He went off to Marseille for 2 million, 2.5 million. We lost 4 million on him. It's a shame. He's obviously got some talent, and people still wanted him, but I couldn't be dealing with paying him money and stuff whilst he was injured all the time. Lucio went on a free to Corinthians. He possibly could have stayed around for another year as a backup, but he only played once last season, so I mean, yeah, I couldn't be bothered to keep him, particularly on the wages he was on for the player of his quality. There we go. I'm just looking on the side over here. That's all the players we bought. That's strange. And then Nicholas Håkansson. He signed for Man United for £5.25 million. I mean, this will I hope this isn't a decision that goes back to haunt me. It comes back to haunt me. But I think we got a decent amount out of him. But there's the proof. I mean, he played well, but the proof is there. He got 23 games last season. He only scored 5. And that's really not good enough. I mean, he did get 10, but 5 of those were in, some of the cup competitions. I mean, fine, but I didn't. There's no space for him. He was not changing games when he was coming on. He would occasionally score against the weaker clubs, but that's not. I need more than that. So I got rid of him. Speaking of, the reason I say I hope he doesn't come back to bite me is that if you'll remember, I sold Big Hervé at the beginning of the first video that we recorded, or maybe the second video. He's now gone on to sign for Bayern for £14.5 million. So we sold him for 2 million or 3 million to Bristol City. They sold him for 6. They sold him for double. So people like Big Hervé, and maybe I was a bit quick to get rid of him because he is a monster at the back in terms of height, at least, and we probably could have done with him. He is limited, but we possibly could have, we possibly could have been fine if we'd kept him until, just for a couple more years at centre back, 6'7", couldn't really go wrong with that. But fine, whatever. So if we look at the Premier League, here we are. We are predicted again to come 6th. That's what we were predicted last time. This time, however, the board expect us to qualify for Europe in the Champions League via the league, so we have to come in the top 4. If we're going to meet the board's expectations, we are of course in the Champions League. We don't yet know the draw because it's not telling us anything, but yeah, the next round of the if I go to arrange friendly, it should tell me when they are. No, Okay, so the next round of the Champions League qualifiers, the final round should be played in the next couple of weeks, and then we'll learn who we're playing against in the group stages, because we automatically qualify for the group stages. That's good. I'm torn, because obviously you want to do as well as you possibly can, but I'm not that bothered about that. I really want to win the league again. The league is the feather in the cap of anyone who wins. I'm obviously not going to allow everyone trying to buy German Neoto, and lots of our players for like pittance. It's ridiculous. The club is in the middle of a takeover. They're not really being taken over. Frankly, it's more that the chairman is stepping aside and letting someone else on the board take over. But apparently that counts as a takeover. So every time I get something from them, they say, "Oh, we do hope you'll stick with us whilst we're doing this." I'm like, "Yeah, I don't care. Get on with it." But it's not really going to change our financial position at all, because if suddenly one of the board takes over and suddenly we have shitloads of money, that smacks as being a bit disingenuous previously, because they didn't want to give us any money. Cunningham has been on sensational form throughout the summer, so of course he's suspended for the first game because he got himself sent off for that stupid challenge in the final game of last season. I'm going to offer him out on loan for a fee of £500,000. Make offer, yes, there you go. So let's see how this team works together now that we've sorted things out. So the way it's going to work is, we need to find a defensive midfielder. Why do we not have any? Where's oh no, they're all injured. Oh yeah. So Glavina's injured for like 6 months because he did his cruciate ligament. Where does it tell you about him? Information. Is it history? You go to history, injuries. He's just damaged his cruciate ligaments, so he will be out for 6 months. So great, thanks Carlo. So what we're going to have to do then is we're going to have to put Sabani there. We will put you on the bench, I suppose, as well. No team ever usually played. No, we won't. Not what we'll do is we'll put one of the under 18s on the bench. Let's be. Oh, they're all ineligible. Why are they all ineligible? They're under. Fine. We will put Ahmed on the bench then. Will he need a? He will need a number. Yeah. Okay. So he's going to get number 41. Right, let's play this first game of the season. See, this is why this is what did for us last time. So West Brom today are playing this stupid 4-2-2-2 formation, which gives them no width, but makes it very difficult to go through them. Last time we played them and they beat us famously towards the end of last season. They played these two players were further forward. These two players, and basically they played a 3-5-2. Oh, sorry, 3-5-2 is basically how they played. So they packed the midfield a bit more, but added width, and it went very well for them. So I'm hoping that this season they are not going to keep doing that. Passionate. Go out there and impress me, guys. Calm, I have faith. We're essentially playing with the same team as we played with last season because of injuries and suspension to our new players. So, in fact, are we playing with anyone new? No, it's literally the same team that's finished the last season. Okay, so City won their first game. That's good. Well done them. Sheffield Wednesday came out, by the way. It wasn't. They beat Everton in the final of the playoffs. And I don't know if we actually mentioned it on the last game, but Tottenham beat Man United in the Champions League final 2-0. So well done, Tottenham. You're the champions of Europe. That's why we're playing them in the Super Cup in a couple of weeks' time. Yeah. It would be cool to win the Super Cup, I suppose. We don't often beat Tottenham, though, so it's going to be a tough one. And we really haven't signed very many players. This season's going to be a struggle. I focus quite a lot on buying young players and trying to sort of replace the ones we had. So we essentially 1 in, 1 out in the two places where we did swap players, but yeah, I don't know how we will do this season. Fitzgerald, Kotnik, trouble is we just have no money. Like other teams are spending 26 million on one player. We get 26 million as our entire budget. So it's tough to sustain us at this level. This is why you kind of need to be in the Champions League for a while, but not, and try and just sustain that top four for a few seasons and allow yourself to sort of bump up a bit, because we are not, because we're not guaranteed to get into that every single season at the moment. As the way things fall, it means that our income can be a bit changeable, which is partly one of the reasons why our board doesn't shell out loads of money for us. God. Montinielli, Munier, Sabani, Montinielli, Sabani. So playing Engblom, it's in our second centre-back role now here, and allowing Montinielli to play on the left, because Montinielli plays very well, and Engblom I think plays better as a centre-back. He played decent as left-back most of last season, but the odd occasion where he did play at centre-back, he did really well, and obviously at the moment we need a bit of an extra centre-backage, because Mbele is a legend of the club, but he's not the best player. I was kind of hoping he'd be a bit older, but he's still only 27, so I was hoping he'd be like 30. Then you could sort of start winding him. You could start winding him down, like offer him a little bit less money, try and get him on a coaching contract or something. But of course, he's still in the prime of his sodding career, and if you get rid of them, even if they're not good enough, like Håkansson, everyone was pissed off at me for selling Håkansson, just because he's like a legend of the club. And I was like, that's not fair. He's not good enough, and he doesn't play very well just because you like him. So yeah, I didn't want to sell two club icons in one summer, and then if we start losing, I'll get in the shit for that. Dania, close again. We've got to beat West Brom here. We have. That's true. Far from pleased. Passionate. Come on. Dania, look, he's really not doing well fitness-wise. It's a shame, because he played a lot of it at the pre-season, so he's had his bloody chances to get fit. And there wasn't a tournament in the middle of the season, in the middle of the year this time, so they didn't have to spend all summer dilly-dallying around playing football when they could have been preparing themselves for next season's football. I'm going to bring Abdallah on, and Billy Watts is playing like an absolute fucking drain again. Why is he so bad? Now he apparently plays best as a trequartista. Alright, let's try that then. But that definitely wasn't the case before. Why did you just do that? Why? That is taking a chance. You've got 5 of them surrounding Watts at the top there. I changed Watts' number now. He's number 11 instead of number 12. Maybe that'll help him. Who knows? What exactly does the trequartista role do? That's the kind of essentially is that the one that Messi technically is? Or was, and during this game was made? I don't know. Pedersen, It was interesting over the summer. They do at the end of every season they do like a kind of best of this year, and then they update the best of all time Weston Super Mare team based on the new inductees into the best 11. And for some reason, Kelvin, who we had a couple of conversations about last season, who played for Porto and then ended up playing for Southampton, and I was saying he played for us for ages but didn't really score very many goals. He, for some reason, despite obviously not having played for the club for about 4 years, was suddenly bumped up into the best 11 of all time. I was like, oh, okay, interesting decision. But yeah, so there we go. Fun fact for you fact fans. This episode is probably going to be a bit shorter than usual, but that's fine. The less time I'm on this, the less time there is for me to be interrupted by the phone. Fitzgerald. Oh, Gerbach. That's me, Gerbach. Oh, what? You didn't even give him a booking? Pedersen. Engblom. Oh, you... I mean, though, why? Why do you do this to me? Come on. 66 minutes. Sabani. Mounier. Oh, could have been a nice cross. Hit low and hard. Abdallah. I think I really like Abdallah. He's come into it a bit. I think it took him a few games last season to sort of find his feet. To the extent that they still ask me if he's going to get game time over the next couple of games, and I say yes because he deserves it, and they say, oh, but does he? I'm like, yes, I'm the manager, shut up. But yeah, I'm going to hope that he's going to play most of the small again. This is why I was stupid to start Danya in this one. I should have focused on starting with Abdallah and try and make him have a run in the game, running the team, and make sure that Danya is the kind of, he comes on to change games rather than being expected to do it all from the beginning, because he's 30 now, he's getting a bit older. He was never exactly super quick or super mobile anyway, so he's mainly creative. Oh, come on, Sabani, do you want to take your time? What I like is how the players are still moving around all in these different settings, even though the guy's not even got the ball yet. Here we go. It's going to be a dull 0-0 to start off the season. Oh, Kotnik. I mean, last season, this time, we were beating Liverpool 4-0. West Brom, why are you so able to... Why are we... Like, I don't understand how, despite the fact they've got no width at... Oh, Zitouni unlucky. But they've got no width at all, and we haven't... Like, you'd think we would absolutely dominate from the wide positions, wouldn't you? Oh, we have absolutely dominated them. That's a shame. They were unlucky, to be fair. Fitzgerald got man of the match. I mean, look at the stats on that. How do we only get 5 shots on target? This is because they pack that area just in front of the box, so we can't work through them. That's the trouble. Fair enough. Okay. So West Brom, we need to remember them. The buggers. Right. I'll take a look at the fixtures very quickly after this, and we'll decide when we're going to record next. It will probably be the first Champions League game, or possibly the first League Cup game, which will also be coming up soon. We'll see how we like things. Tommy Doran, why is he on my... He got released by Swindon and then signed for a team in the division above, so that's why he was on my list, I suppose. Well done, Zitouni. Right, so let's look at fixtures. So, we are probably going to play... Or do we want to watch it? No, we don't want to watch the Super Cup. Nobody cares about that. Let's go down to... let's say QPR Liverpool. That'll be the next 2 games that we play. Yeah, they should be fun games as well, because if we play Man United again on camera, I'm going to go mad. So that's the end of this one, and I'll see you against Liverpool later. Bye.